Hello and welcome. Today we're going to crack one of those tricky little parts of English grammar, gerunds and infinitives. Sounds complicated, right? But stick with me, and I promise by the end of this you'll be using them like you've been doing it your whole life. So, to get us started, let me ask you a question. Take a look at these phrases. What do taking photos and looking at photos really have in common? I mean, taking and looking, those are action words. They're verbs. But here, they're actually doing something a little different. Any ideas? You got it. They're acting like nouns. And that's the big secret, really. We're going to break down exactly how these verbs can transform to basically name an entire activity. And this little magic trick has a name. It's called a gerund. It's super simple when you think about it. It's just a verb. You stick an ing on the end, and bam, it now works like a noun in your sentence. Think running, reading, cooking. They're all gerunds. Okay. So we've got these cool verb nouns. Where do we actually use them? Well, one of the most important places you're going to see a gerund is right at the very beginning of a sentence, acting as the main subject. That's right. Anytime the action itself is the star of your sentence, using a gerund as the subject is just the most natural-sounding way to say it in modern English. It just flows so much better. Let's look at a head-to-head comparison here. On the left with the gerund you get, taking photos with this camera is easy. Sounds pretty normal, right? Now, on the right, we have the infinitive. To take photos is easy. I mean, it's not technically wrong, but it sounds a bit stiff, almost robotic, doesn't it? The gerund just feels way more natural. All right, so you've heard the theory. Let's see if you can actually put it into practice. Time for a little challenge. Okay, have a look at this sentence. How would you flip this around to start with a gerund? I'll give you a second to think about it. And there it is. Using this smartwatch isn't difficult. It just sounds so much cleaner, more direct. If you got that one, awesome job. Okay, let's do one more. This is a feeling I think we can all relate to these days. How would you rewrite this one to start with a gerund? Exactly. Living without technology is impossible. See, you're totally getting the hang of this. Once you spot the pattern, it just clicks. Okay, so you've absolutely nailed using gerunds as subjects. But what if you want to explain why you're doing something? The purpose. This is where that other form we saw, the infinitive, makes a comeback. And this is where things get really interesting. When you want to explain the purpose of an object, English actually gives you two totally correct ways to do it. You can either use for plus a gerund or to plus an infinitive. Both of them work perfectly. Just look at these examples. You can say, this app is for finding new music, or this app is to find new music. They mean the exact same thing. Both are 100% correct. You can literally just pick whichever one sounds better to you in the moment. All right, you know what time it is? Let's do another quick check. This time, we're going to be on the lookout for some of the common mistakes people make with this purpose rule. Take a look at this sentence. It's trying to explain the purpose of the app, but something small is missing. What is it? There we go. You just need that little word to in there to connect everything. She uses an app to learn vocabulary. Perfect. Okay, last one. Now, this one's a little more subtle. Saying for doing my work isn't, a total train wreck grammatically. But when you have a verb like need or use followed by an object, the to plus infinitive form is just the more natural direct choice. So what's a better way to say this? Yes, I need a laptop to do my work. It just sounds cleaner, doesn't it? So after phrases like, I need a thing, or I use a thing, using to plus the verb is the slickest way to state its purpose. You have done some fantastic work. We've tackled two of the biggest, most important rules for gerunds and infinitives. So let's just wrap it all up with a nice, clear summary. So here are the key things to lock in your brain. When you're talking about the subject of a sentence, the gerund is your absolute best friend for sounding natural. And when you're explaining the purpose of something, well, you've got options. For plus a gerund or to plus an infinitive. Both are often totally fine. And that's all for today. But now that you have these rules in your toolkit, start listening for them. The next time you're reading an article, listening to music, or watching a show, you'll start to notice them everywhere. And now you'll know exactly why they're there. Happy learning!